not necessarily about the traditional issues that we care about. It's about just the greater heart of our nation and the direction we head in general.
Right now, Vice President Kamala Harris makes a stop in the Badger State. How local voters are reacting to her visit. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10.
We will move forward. And just like Wisconsin's state motto tells us, forward is where we go. Forward is where we go. Because ours is a fight for the future.
Tonight, thousands gathered at the Alliant Energy Center for presidential candidate Kamala Harris's rally. We've had team coverage of the visit all evening. We're joined by Eric Franke, Braden Ross, and Jalen Banks. Eric's here to get us started with a look at the vice president's speech. Good evening, Eric.
Good evening, Armand, and this place was very loud just a few hours ago. We've been talking about it. Maybe it was a Badger hockey game in the 90s, the last time it was this packed and this loud. My photographer, Brian Mesmer, says it was the KISS reunion concert, 1996. But nonetheless, whatever it was, it's been a while since the Coliseum was this loud and this full. Kamala Harris spoke just hours ago, and one of the chief things she talked about tonight had to do with the economy. That was one of the headline topics that she got to tonight. The vice president saying she plans to work for all Americans and that we have a lot more in common than we might think. Clearly an effort to bridge the divide that currently exists among voters. Now, when it comes to the economy, she says she wants to build an economy of opportunity, saying she wants to build some 3 million homes by the end of her first term, expand the child care tax credit. And Vice President Harris also talked health care and brought up former President Trump's plans to end the Affordable Care Act. And in particular, she brought up a key moment in their debate last week.
It's very serious because he's basically saying he would threaten the health insurance of 45 million people in our country based on a concept. And take us back. Remember those days when insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions? Remember what that was like? Well, brother, we are not going back. We are not going back.
And while the campaign, of course, for all of us is becoming an exhausting process, Vice President Harris reminded those in attendance that the election is now just 46 days away and that there is still much work to be done.
And what we know, this is going to be a tight race until the very end. So let's not pay too much attention to the polls, because let's be clear, we are the underdog in this race, and we have some hard work ahead of us. But here's the thing, we like hard work.
The stop in Madison caps off a very busy 24 hours for the vice president. Last night, she was in suburban Detroit, a joint appearance with Oprah Winfrey. Earlier today, she made a campaign stop down in Georgia, and in that speech in the Atlanta area, and also at times in her speech today in Madison, she spoke at length about the importance of protecting, of course, a woman's right to choose. Now, in a campaign cycle where we're constantly, it seems, talking about crowd sizes, well, it was hard to find an empty seat here in the Coliseum today. A boisterous 12,000. That's the rough estimate of how many were here today. And we go to Braden Ross now for more on the energy level of those in attendance. Braden?
Hi, Eric. Yeah, thousands of people came through these doors here at the Alliant Energy Center Coliseum today to see Vice President Kamala Harris speak on the stage tonight. And I caught up with a few of them before the rally and about why they wanted to come here and what they hope to hear from Vice President Harris tonight. Everyone I spoke to was very excited to hear from Harris. But how did they feel about the speech after the fact? Well, I caught up with a few people just minutes after she left the stage. Here's a look at what they thought.
One thing I was worried she might not mention is her history of having grown up for part of her childhood in Madison. She often seems reluctant, I think, because she was really young, but she's about the age Joe Biden was when he lived in Scranton. So she's weathered winters here in Madison. That means something.
I've had the honor of going to a few other rallies in past presidential elections, but this one was so different. It was so energetic and happy and bright for the future, which is something that we haven't heard in our politics in quite a while.
I made a couple jokes about how it feels like I'm in a Democratic mosh pit, and it kind of felt like a rave at the beginning, but today was super fun.
Now, one of the top issues people mentioned to me that they wanted to hear about tonight and that Harris actually did talk about tonight is reproductive rights. She spent a long time talking about that on the stage today. But one of the things people told me they hoped to hear that they didn't hear tonight was a lot of talk about foreign policy. That's not something that Vice President Harris really touched on tonight, and that's something that a few people mentioned to me that they wish that she would have. But I'll send it back to you for now, Eric.
All right, Braden, thank you very much. And as always the case at these events, the vice president wasn't the only person addressing the crowd. For more on who else took the stage today, we go live now to our Jalen Banks, who's standing by with more on who those other speakers were.
Eric, as you just mentioned, Vice President Harris, not the only one speaking. We saw a plethora of speakers and politicians, ranging from Senator Tammy Baldwin, Governor Tony Evers, even Madison mayors Satya Rhodes Conway, as well as Wisconsin Democratic Party Chairman Ben Winkler. A common theme heard throughout the evening and their speeches were the issues important to Wisconsinites, such as reproductive rights, which continues to be a hot ticket item, the price of goods and living, and the current state of the housing market.
I think housing is really central to what people are experiencing right now, and people know that it is difficult to find housing in Madison and that we need help building more housing, frankly. And, you know, we're doing what we can at the city level, but we really do need help from the federal level. And the fact that the vice president is talking about that, she's talking about building new housing.
Another key point that was brought up throughout the speeches tonight was just how important Wisconsin is throughout presidential elections. Here is Wisconsin Democratic Chairman Ben Winkler on that.
The whole country depends on what voters in Wisconsin do. In most parts of America, they really don't have any say in the outcome of this election. But Wisconsin tipped both of the last two presidential elections one way or the other. So if enough Democrats and enough people who want Harris and Walz to lead the country and don't want Trump and Vance actually organize their friends and family to turn out, Wisconsin could be the state that puts Harris over the top and makes her the 47th president of the United States.
Now, 4 out of the last 6 elections, Wisconsin has been decided by less than a percentage point. And recent polling numbers show that, on average, Vice President Harris leads former President Trump by 2 points within the margin error. And Senator Tammy Baldwin has a slight edge over her challenger, Republican Eric Hovde, 51% in favor of Senator Baldwin and 48% in favor of Eric Hovde. These two races continuing to show just how important and tight Wisconsin will be this November. But I'm going to send it back to you, Eric.
All right, Jalen, thank you. Now, in advance of the vice president's appearance here in Madison, the state party GOP chair Brian Schimming held a press conference. Here's what he had to say about vice president's visit to Madison, and also the importance of Wisconsin in this election cycle, as always.
12 elections in 24 years in this state that have been decided by less than 30,000 votes. Kamala Harris doesn't get back to the White House unless she wins Wisconsin, and she needs a big turnout. She has to go to her base of voters, not where independent voters live, because frankly, she doesn't want to answer questions from independent voters.
Well, the Deputy Communications Director of the Republican State Leadership Committee, Mason DePalma, added in a separate statement, quote, Republican candidates will continue to make Democrats answer for their economic record while focusing on cost-effective ways to get the country back on track, end quote. Now, Vice President Harris left Madison, taking off at a Dane County Regional Airport just after 7 o'clock tonight, heading for Washington, D.C. As for former President Donald Trump, he was down in Florida today raising money. He is expected to be back on the campaign trail tomorrow night in the state of North Carolina. Armand, back to you.
Eric, Jalen, Braden, thank you so much. Meanwhile, temperatures will reach into the mid-80s tomorrow, but with that heat comes the chance for some showers. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington for how much rain we can get. Alex?
Yeah, Armand. This time tomorrow night, it's probably going to be loud across a good portion of southern Wisconsin. We do have showers, as you mentioned, and thunderstorms likely as we go even into the late afternoon and early evening hours of Saturday. Those temperatures, as you take note of, you said mid-80s, Armand, 87 degrees. That's what we're going for high temperature. Our normal high for this time of year, 70s. That's almost 20 degrees above normal. As we go into the first day of fall, we'll still have showers and thunderstorms across much of southern Wisconsin, but temperatures acting like the fall-like temperatures that we should be experiencing this time of year. It's still 62 degrees out here on the patio. It's peaceful, but as I mentioned, 24 hours from now, not quite as peaceful with thunderstorms that will first enter areas north and west of Madison as early as the afternoon hours on Saturday and then race across the rest of southern Wisconsin as we go into the evening and into the overnight hours on Sunday, but not Saturday night rather, but not after a hot day across southern Wisconsin. One or two of those storms could be on the rough side. We're going to track those storms and the threats that they bring coming up in just a little bit in Maine weather. But hey, that rain that we received in many areas of southern Wisconsin last night gave a little water to the sunflowers here. That Tammy, thank you so much for sending those from Arena. And Arena, you're probably going to get more water as we go on into Saturday night and going on into Sunday. In Maine weather, we'll track those storms again and how much total water you can expect out of those storms. We'll be right back.
I'm Tammy Baldwin. I approve this message.
We found out our baby had severe fetal abnormalities and that my life was at risk. But Wisconsin Republicans' extreme abortion ban forced us to leave the state to get the care that I needed. It was a nightmare. Eric Hovde pushed to end Roe v. Wade. And in the Senate, Hovde would give Mitch McConnell the majority to ban abortion nationwide. No exceptions for rape, incest, or the health of women like me. What is wrong with these guys?
Get an 11% rebate on everything at Menards. Complete your updates with Alex Plus All-Purpose Caulk. This sealant works for a variety of projects and is paint ready after just 30 minutes. Now only $177 each after rebate. Save time on your paint project with help from Duck Clean Release Painter's Tape. Use on walls, trim, glass, wood, or metal for clean removal and clean paint lines every time. Get this 3-pack for $13.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
As a prosecutor, I never asked a victim or a witness, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay? And that's the kind of president we need right now. Someone who cares about you and is not putting themselves first. I intend to be a president for all Americans and focus on investing right now in you, the American people. And we can chart a new way forward. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
There are over 21,000 Wisconsin veterans struggling to pay for rent and utilities.
Thank you for your service.
Many are also facing issues with their mental health.
Thank you for your service.
We must do more to help these heroes who have already sacrificed so much.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
Words simply aren't enough.
I'm sorry.
Make a difference by donating to this critical Wisconsin survival safety net today.
Hot tub season is here now, and Leisure Concepts has so many hot tubs in our showroom, we can barely move. Tons of new hot tubs. Floor models are on sale, and a powerful 4-seat hot tub is just $59.99. We'll deliver your new hot tub immediately, and we train you so owning and loving your hot tub is a breeze. Check out our huge packed showroom now for a great hot tub at a great price. Leisure Concepts is on the Beltline at the Park Street exit.
3 years ago, I had an abortion of a desperately wanted and loved baby. Joan Ballwig wants to ban all abortion, with no exceptions. Not for rape or incest, not to save the mother's life. I know what it's like when women have to make these heartbreaking decisions. The very last person who should have anything to do with it is a politician like Joan Ballwig.
A war explodes a world away, creating divides here at home. Arman Rahman and a local expert break down the history of U.S. relations with Israel and Palestine and how candidate policies could sway Wisconsin voters. 3 for the People, Monday at 6.
And more rain is on the way to southern Wisconsin. We'll take all those drops that we can get. A lot of us got drops last night. Some areas east of Madison didn't get quite as much. We were thinking that would be the case. Beautiful out here on the patio right now. This is gorgeous out here. 60-degree weather, low humidity. It's peaceful, it's quiet. But by this time tomorrow night, not quite as quiet. We're going to have thunderstorms moving in back into southern Wisconsin as we go perhaps as early as the late afternoon hours. I'm going to show you that in just a moment on Future Track. Best chances for rain will be Saturday night and on Sunday, with lesser chances of rain Sunday going on into Monday. I'll explain some of those changes in just a moment. So good chances for water drops in southern Wisconsin. We absolutely will take all those drops that we can get across the area. Look how widespread the rain was over the course of the past 24 hours from, let's say, Madison, Janesville, and points off to the west, and especially the southwestern part of the state where many places picked up 1, some cases 2 inches of rain. But we said that line would be weakening as it moved across southern Wisconsin, which it did. So you get east of Watertown, east of Jefferson, east of Elkhorn, over towards Milwaukee, and then the rain just turned off. But future track turning the rain back on, perhaps as early as the early afternoon hours over southwestern Wisconsin as warmer and more humid air moves back towards southern Wisconsin. We'll put future track into motion here. There's those thunderstorms. Southwest Wisconsin could see a strong storm or two as we go later Saturday afternoon. This version of future track bringing more thunderstorms, redeveloping Saturday evening, carrying on into the overnight hours. They finally move off towards the south and towards the east as we get towards midnight. But if we do have those afternoon storms, sometimes that zaps the energy in the atmosphere, and we may struggle to get more storms to develop Saturday night. Blaze will be here tomorrow evening and tomorrow night as well if any of those storms end up getting on the rough side. And then we bring more showers and a couple claps of thunder back into the area as early as 6 o'clock Sunday morning, and that carries on during the afternoon hours. Could pick up a decent amount of water if this verifies, especially over the southwestern, let's say 2/3 of southern Wisconsin. Could half-inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. Some places, if you get some of those stronger storms, the price you pay with the stronger storms is the heavy rainfall, which, of course, we most certainly need a few more drops across southern Wisconsin. Wind and hail would be the main threats if any of those storms do get on the rough side. And another version of future track showing persistent shower activity as we carry on beyond that noon hour going on into Sunday night, especially for areas for, let's say, Madison points to the south. And as we get more rain Monday going into Tuesday, much of southern Wisconsin seeing at least another 1/4 to half-inch as we go Monday going on into Tuesday. After that weather system, fall starts Sunday. It feels like fall with temperatures where they should be for this time of year, but that's short-lived. After that, those temperatures go back up near 80 by the end of the 10-day forecast, and we go back into a dry weather pattern.
Welcome into Week 5 of the Final Drive. I'm Zach Ganley alongside Andrew Banstra, and Week 5 means the regular season already half over.
That is hard to believe, but Zach, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We had some big-time games today with big conference title implications.
You're right, Andrew. Let's take the Badger Small, for instance. Both Stoughton and Mountain Hora Barneveld sit undefeated in the standings.
So the winner of tonight's contest has the fast track to that Badger Small Conference crown.
MHB has won 3 straight in the Vikings versus Vikings series, and they got off to a fast start. Owen Primesberger takes the handoff and scoots 30 yards in for the score. Forget this, one of his 4 touchdowns on the night, and that offense was far from done. Later in the half, Brooks Hendrickson drops a tutty dime on Owen Ashleman. Those two connected twice for scores as well. All MHB in this one. They win 54-0. Now, last week, Verona came out and proved they're still the top dogs in the Big 8, winning their 16th straight conference game.
Now the challenge for Andrew Riley's squad is not to forget about who they're playing next week, with Middleton looming big next Friday. La Follette looking to knock off the reigning Big 8 champs. That's easier said than done. First drive for Verona. Caleb Hallmark finds good old reliable Trey Poteet, and he finds the end zone, a place he'd be awful familiar with this evening. Later in the first half, La Follette on to punt. Lesson of the day, folks, death, taxes, and Trey Poteet finding the end zone makes one man miss and another, showing the Rocky Top faithful what they have to look forward to in the orange and white. Speaking of orange and white, Verona, they win it big. 44-6 is the final. Now, besides Verona, there's only one unbeaten team in Big 8 play, Madison West. And the Regents, they had a tall task ahead of them.
Yeah, a very upset and very motivated Memorial squad. Remember, the Spartans coming off a 10-0 loss last week. It's a battle for Mansfield Stadium. Memorial has won 6 straight over West. The Spartans struck fast and first. Very first play of the game, Owen Fiedler finds his man Marion Moore, and whoop, 16 says, Mama, you better set an extra plate at the table because I've got reservations for 6. And that Memorial defense wanted to get a piece of the pie, too. Ben Baylor dives on the fumble to keep West out of the end zone, and that would give Moore another opportunity for some more. Fiedler sets his feet and chucks it deep to who else? Moore. Memorial says, I'll take that. They'll make it 7 straight. Their last check of this one, they're leading 27-6 in the 3rd quarter. And for the 3rd straight year, the battle for Sun Prairie went to the Cardinals. Sun Prairie East beats Sun Prairie West 49-16 to keep that Border Blitz trophy for another year. Wolves still looking for that first win of their season. Well, speaking of the Badger Large, the only other unbeaten team in the standings is Milton. And the Red Hawks, as we mentioned last week, they play some nasty defense.
No team has scored more than 7 points against them in 4 weeks, but that was put to the test tonight. Monona Grove averaging 32 points a game, and the Silver Eagles looking for their 2nd straight win over a ranked opponent. 4th down for MG, and they keep the offense on the field, which was a good idea. Jace Thompson hits Jackson Blotz on the 18-yard pitch and catch, puts the Silver Eagles up 7-0. Later in the first, it is another 4th down, and it worked so well the first time, why not try it again? Thompson puts a dime on Cal Worth, and just like that, it's 14-0 MG. Milton would answer in the second. 4th and goal, Tyler Zeal finds Vinny Churchwell in the end zone. That makes it a 1-score game, but it would end the same way. Monona Grove goes on to win it. 26-21 is the final. 3 ranked teams in the Capital Conference all came away with wins in Week 5. Columbus took care of Bigfoot 57-13, while Lake Mills knocked off Beloit Turner 21-0 to move on to 5-0. And oh, by the way, Lodi a winner tonight as well. The Blue Devils beat Clinton to stay perfect in conference play.
And in the Eastern Suburban Conference, it's looking like Cambridge and Partyville are on a collision course for their October 4th meeting. The Blue Jays beat the Pirates of Waterloo to stay undefeated, and the Bulldogs moved to 5-0 with a 42-0 win over the Pumas. And still to come, a clean sweep at the Fieldhouse. How Wisconsin continue their win streak. More sports after the break.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
He told us who he was.
Should abortion be punished?
There has to be some form of punishment.
Then he showed us.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it, and I'm proud to have done it.
Now Donald Trump wants to go further with plans to restrict birth control, ban abortion nationwide, even monitor women's pregnancies. We know who Donald Trump is. He'll take control. We'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
We're cranking up the voltage, Wisconsin. Lottery retailers all around the state are lighting up with the latest limited time offer. It's Badger 5, 5 will get you 6. During the month of September, players who buy a $5 or greater Badger 5 ticket will receive a bonus ticket for the next drawing of Badger 5. This electric offer is only available for a limited time and only at Wisconsin lottery retailers.
4 years ago, in this alley, rioters threw a brick at my face and knocked out my teeth. Why? Because I was a police officer. And what did Kamala Harris do? While America's cities were burning, Kamala was defending peaceful protest. She raised millions to help bail rioters out of jail and supported defunding our police, making us all less safe. Kamala Harris is dangerous.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
With Sweeto Metal Roofing, you get quality metal roofs installed by the best in the business. A metal roof means no fading, no storm repairs, true sustainability, and lower energy bills.
Sweeto Metal Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
lock in for October. Brewers postseason tickets are on sale now.
Are you kidding?
More heroics, more fireworks, more opportunities to make history in this building. Because when that temperature drops, the action heats up. Clear your schedule, claim your spot. Get ready for a Brewers postseason run you don't want to miss. Get your tickets now.
Brian Style worked to overturn Roe v. Wade, called it a great victory.
Brian Stiles' victory banned abortion in Wisconsin, and his agenda would ban it nationwide, with surveillance of pregnancies and restricting birth control and fertility treatments. Peter Barca fights to protect our freedoms, not tear them away.
He backs Wisconsin's law enforcement, firefighters, and unions.
And Peter does what's right no matter what party it is.
I'm Peter Barca, and I approve this message.
Shop from the largest selection of Chevy trucks and SUVs in Wisconsin at Bergstrom Chevrolet. All with Bergstrom's negotiation-free upfront pricing, including our exclusive 7-day price protection and money-back guarantees. Stop in or shop and purchase at BergstromChevrolet.com.
No rest for Wisconsin volleyball, fresh off a win over their rival at the Kohl Center. Kelly Sheffield's squad welcomed in Troy to the Fieldhouse for the first ever meeting between the two. Let's start in the third set. Badgers already up 2-0. Sarah Franklin, coming off a 33-kill performance, gets another one to fall. Kind of a quiet night from her, though, finishing with just 9 kills. Then later in the set, Charlie Furbringer back, and she sets it backwards to CeCe Crawford, who drops it home. Furbringer finished with 36 assists. And you know what? Wisconsin was good hosts to Troy. They're going to welcome the Trojans to their block party. Badgers break out the brooms. They win it in straight sets. Well, when it comes to Wisconsin women's hockey, Mark Johnson's squad is thinking national championship every single year. This season is no different, especially after how it ended last year. Now, yes, it's a new team and a new year, but there's a core of Badgers that haven't forgotten that feeling in Durham, New Hampshire, and they plan to use it as fuel every time they hit the ice.
Only a chip on our shoulder, and we're just going to use it for motivation because, you know, a lot of us remember how it felt to lose, and I'm sure none of us want to feel that way again. It was, you know, pretty bad feeling.
We're, in a way, kind of pissed off, so it's a good motivation, and even we're telling the young girls who came in, like, it's all or nothing, and we're winning that thing. I've said it many times already to the young girls, but I'm like, we're doing it this year.
In 3 weeks, the Badger men's hockey team drops the puck on year 2 of the Mike Hastings era, and after finishing second in the Big Ten last year, Wisconsin's picked to finish 4th in the conference behind Michigan State, Minnesota, and Michigan. Ben Dexheimer was the lone Badger named to the league's preseason All-Big Ten first team. Game 204 between the Brewers and D-backs. Now, Tuesday is always Taco Tuesday, except if you're Garrett Mitchell. 5th inning, he sends an Oppo Taco to left field on a Friday night to tie this one up at 4, but the Crew would fall 7-4 the final. We're back after this.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Eric Hovde insulted Wisconsin seniors.
Almost nobody in a nursing home is in a point to vote.
What a jerk. He attacked those who are overweight.
Fine, you want to do that? Your health care is going to cost more.
How insulting is that?
He called farmers lazy.
Look at the old physical toil. Now you're largely driving around a tractor.
This guy doesn't have a clue.
Eric Hovde has insulted just about everyone.
What's wrong with this guy?
With Chevy trucks, be ready for adventure. With power you can count on. Capability that doesn't compromise. A hard-working EV with more range than any competitor. And the potential to take you anywhere. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups. Or get $5,750 total value on this Silverado. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Leave the gate open, and it's chaos. Biden and Kamala opened America's gate, abandoned the Border Patrol. In came over 8 million unvetted illegals, and a fentanyl crisis endangering families.
Let's go. I'm Derek Van Orden, and after spending 26 years as a Navy SEAL, I'll do anything to protect your grandchildren and mine. I know how to defend this country. So let's secure the border, and save America. I'm Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
This September, it's time to celebrate Portage Furniture's anniversary sale. For decades, we've been a staple of our downtown community, and we're proud of those roots. We've built a reputation for quality service and beautiful forever furniture, and you can save on all of the top brands: Smith Brothers, Flex Steel, Lazy Boy, Sturdy Mattresses, and always free delivery. Shop local this September at Portage Furniture's anniversary sale. Don't you just love a good reason to celebrate?
I've never slept a full night in my entire life. I was 5 years old when my stepfather abused me for the first time. I just felt like I was alone on a planet with a monster. I was 12 when he impregnated me. I just remember thinking, I have to get out of my skin. I can't be me right now. Like, this can't be it. I didn't know what to do. I was a child. I didn't know what it meant to be pregnant at all. But I had options. Because Donald Trump overturned Roe v. Wade, girls and women all over the country have lost the right to choose, even for rape or incest. Donald Trump did this. He took away our freedom.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Donate kids' winter coats at Clinky Cleaners during Coats for Kids.
Tonight.
Would you like a rematch?
That's why I came here. Colbert's got Steph Curry plus Senator Mark Kelly tonight on CBS.
Well, again, they left us to say goodnight.
Yeah, I don't know how that keeps happening, but we do enjoy saying goodnight to you guys, so why don't I just say it? Have a fantastic night, everybody.
See you later.